What's up, guys? Today I'm specifically going to talk about 5 easy tricks you can do before you even learn how to ollie. A lot of people have trouble learning to ollie, so we're going to talk about some basic tricks that you might not have thought about. There are some days when I just don't want to have to ollie. There are some days when I'm sore and I do not want to have to ollie. And this is the tricks to do on those days. So the first trick I want to talk about in this video is just a manual on flat. Not ollieing into a manual on a ledge, but just rolling around and holding a manual. This is one of the most basic tricks before you learn to ollie. So all you're doing is putting weight on your back foot, bending your front knee, taking weight off of your front foot. You can kind of roll your ankle a little bit to hold it, but just seeing how long you can go on 2 wheels. So with your upper body, you're kind of leaning forward a little bit to compensate for the fact that you're putting more weight on your back foot, and you're keeping your shoulders straight over the bolts. That's really important. You could also do this on the front of the board and everything's just the opposite. It's the same, but the other way. So there's a lot of different ways to roll into a manual. When you go up a ramp, you can immediately lift up and go into a manual. You could roll down on something and roll into a manual like this right here. There's just a bunch of different ways to do that. So we talked about rolling into a manual, but you could also roll into a grind. So the second trick I'm going to talk about is going from a flat place and rolling into a grind, kind of like a slappy grind. So to do this, you either have to be coming off of a ledge and rolling onto the edge of it, or if there's something that kind of gradually starts from the point where it's touching the ground like this, you can kind of roll onto it and do a grind like that. The next trick is kind of like an ollie. It's getting off the ground, but it's easier. It's a kind of a beginner step to doing an ollie, and that's a boneless. This is an old trick, like an old school trick, where you're grabbing the board and lifting it up off the ground. So with a boneless, before you do it out of any ramps like that, you want to do it on flat ground. You want to do it slow. So with the boneless, you grab the board in the middle, indie first, and then you take your front foot off, plant it, pull up with your arm, just jump off your back foot and jump back on the board. And that's boneless. So the next trick I want to talk about before learning to ollie would have to be a nose stall. You don't actually have to ollie if something's small like this. You just lift up. You just lift up your front wheels and set them on the ledge. You don't have to actually pop the tail on the ground. You just kind of do like a beginner ollie. Just lift up, push the nose on, you shift your weight on your front foot, and then you just kind of pop off, fall off. Leaning this way, you're just going to kind of fall off the ledge. So I was just talking to some Mormons over there for a while, kind of debating theology, trying to figure out what they actually believe. And I was wondering why they believe that we become our own God in heaven. Like, we become a God instead of just being with God. It just didn't really make sense to me, so I kind of debated them a little bit with their theology, and they didn't really know what to say. So the last trick we're going to talk about is just kind of rolling off a ledge. It's kind of like an ollie, but without the ollie. So what I'm doing is just a little manual off of any object. So you're taking weight off your front foot, putting it on your back foot, and just kind of rolling off. It might help to bend your knees a little bit. I'm gonna do some here. You can do this off of a ledge like this or downstairs. I'm gonna do it on these little 2 sets first. Then we'll move over there to the 3 set and try it on there. So if I did this really fast and just scrape the tail down them, it'd be called a firecracker. But what I'm doing here is just rolling down the stairs. So with that one, you really have to put weight on your back foot. You can't be leaning forward at all. You have to lean back, but hunch your upper body forward. So your weight is pushing yourself forward. That's 5 easy tricks before you learn how to ollie. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, reviews, tutorials, and videos about what I'm learning as I grow as a skateboarder, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.